one of the things that they constantly are talking about is we need affordable daycare. That's why all these women are not working. All these empty tables, all these no hosts, they can't get cheap daycare. Got to take care of the kids. Got to have daycare. I liked it back in the old days, where somebody went out, worked, while the other person stayed home, took care of the house. That's the way the politicians did it back in 1776. That's why you have all of these long recesses for Congress. They're scheduled recesses for months at a time. Because the intent was the guy does his service for government, goes home, tends to business, takes care of the farm, makes sure everything's running all right. And generally, at that time, it was the woman who stayed at home. I'm not saying that women should stay home now. I say somebody should. I understand it's a modern society and women want to play a different role than they have been doing in the last 6,000 years. And they suddenly just change their minds. Typical woman, right? Just change their minds. Oh, I have to work. I have to be of value to society. How is raising your kids, taking care of the household and running the family business, how is that not of value to a society? That was the greatest fool that was ever perpetrated on the American female. That somehow taking care of your family, taking care of the household, running the family books and business, that somehow was of no value or of less value, and that going out and doing it for a stranger. Because that's what you do when you work for somebody else. You take care of their books. And how many of these secretaries, or I should say executive assistants, are always asked to do dumb things like get my coffee and buy dry cleaning? It became a thing in the 70s with the feminist movement. Oh, we're not getting coffee anymore. We're capable of running the company. Okay, run it. So we said that. Run it. Okay, here's your CO job. Here's this. Here's that. Whatever. We used to broke every glass ceiling with the exception of the presidency, which may happen shortly, the way things are going in the White House. There's nothing wrong with saying someone should stay home. And I say in a modern society, I understand, look, women want something different out of society and human nature now than they did for 6,000 years. Okay. You want to go out and work? You want to go out and do what I do? You want to bring home the bacon? You want to take abuse from some no-neck in some office somewhere and sit in a cubicle all day long? Be my guest. Let me run the household. Somebody needs to. I believe that. Somebody needs to raise the kids. Somebody needs to take care of the household. Because I work out of the house, and my better half used to, before COVID, used to go out like 3 times a week and go to an office like one week, then she'd be in the field another week. Because we had the agreement I would have to do most of the stuff around the house. It has to be done. Because other than that, we have to pay somebody to do it. Somebody would have to come in and do the gardening. Somebody would have to come in and do the handyman work. Because if I have to go out and work in an office somewhere, the house will fall into disrepair. You can't imagine all the little things I do every day. Because somebody has to do it. In any household, not just mine. Somebody's got to feed the dogs. Somebody's got to walk them. Somebody's got to do the laundry. Somebody's got to change that light bulb. Now, in today's world, running a modern household is less work than it was in 1776, right? Back in those days, you had to do a lot of things. You had to handle everything from the household servants to the lands. So it was a lot more work. People had land in those days, acreage, and the land supported you. And if the crop doesn't come in, it's on you. And your job as the woman was to talk to the servants or the hired help, or in some cases the slaves. Let's not go there. You had to be able to manage households. So it's less work, right? And you had to raise the kids. You had to educate them. Sometimes the community got together and they went to someone who had, because a lot of times people were not educated enough to educate their kids, and they wanted their kids more educated than they, so they hired somebody. They all got together, pooled some money. That's how we got teachers in a modern education system, to our detriment. But somebody had to stay home. That's a great benefit. And as we've gone away from somebody staying at home, our society has suffered for it. Look at how our kids look like they were raised by wolves. Most of them have no discipline, have no manners, right? Most of them don't know up from down, don't know black from white. Think signing aboard with a communist nation is somehow a good idea. That comes from what? That comes from government raising your kids, or someone else, or a stranger. There's an old saying. It's in the Bible, I believe. You Bible experts might know. If you send your kids off to be taught by the Romans, don't be surprised if he comes home a Roman. It's a very true statement. And that's what's happening. You sent your kids off to be raised by strangers. Why are you shocked that they come home with strange ideas? Ideas that somehow a communist China is a better choice than a free America. That boggles my mind. It's unthinkable to me. Not unthinkable to her. She's grasping the gold medal like she actually won something. You didn't win anything. You paid for it. You're a tool. You're a propaganda prop. Or as they say, an agitprop. Somebody needs to stay home and raise the kids. Oh, but at Tom, it's not feasible. Yes, it is. You have to live within your means. That means you have to give up those cell phones at $500, $600 a month. It means not having a new car every 6 months. Believe me, I saw this stuff. Well, we got rid of our old car. Why? Had some mileage on it. You only had it 2 years. Why'd you buy a new one? Well, the guy told me I could have this new car for the same payment. Yeah, but now you're back in a 6-year loan. And it's just in one ear, out the other. New homes, they got to live. Everyone's got a home, wants to have a home like they have on TV, a Hollywood type kind of. You ever watch TV ads or TV sitcoms or something like that? Everyone lives in a multi-million-dollar home with all brand new matching stuff. Nobody has unmatched towels and unwashed sheets in a TV home. The only time I ever saw reality on a TV was that old Roseanne show. That's how people really live. I've seen it. I've been in people's homes. They all want that kind of Hollywood lifestyle. So they buy it. They go out and run up the credit card debt. It boggled my imagination when I went out to people's homes how much credit card debt they had. I was like, oh my God. And they thought nothing of it. I make a good living. Keeping up with the Joneses. That's why we need dual income today. And of course, government then steps in, right? And says, well, you need subsidies. You need daycare money, and you need this money, and you need education money. It used to be you put your kids through school and you raised your own kids, right? And one person went out and earned the living, bringing home the bacon. That's why everything got so expensive, because government subsidized everything. And government's going to subsidize it. We can charge anything. That's why daycare is so expensive. There's all kinds of rules about what daycare is, all kinds of rules about what school is, all kinds of rules about everything. And everything is tax subsidized in tax cuts, whatever, however you want to do it. Even our gasoline, our milk. Milk shouldn't be $1.50 a gallon. Do you know how expensive it is to milk and own a cow in today's world? It's ridiculously. So what do? They don't want to have people looking on the shelf and go, buy $8 for a gallon of milk. You sons of bitches, we're going to throw them out. Oh no. They play games. They subsidize the dairy industry. Huge milk subsidies, huge corn subsidies. So everything seems cheap. You go, oh wow, it's a gallon of milk going 99 cents. That's a good deal. Yeah, you really are still paying $8 a gallon. If you don't think so, look at our $31 trillion in debt. This is what it brought us. All of these government subsidies, all of these substituting government for the American family home life, it's decimated some communities. Look at the Native American community. Look at the African American black community. It's horrible what's been going on. I feel bad for them. I really do. You know, the constant struggle, the racial strife in cities is unbelievable. Urban centers. I get why people are upset. I get why everyone's killing each other now. Why everyone's looting stores. They feel that the race is the problem. It's not the race, pal. It's the government. It's the constant reliance on government substituting for your family values. We're out of time for today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. By the way, I got a bunch of new people got emailed me today, put $2 into the kitty. They're now getting audio shows after I finish taping it and I post it to Spreaker at 8 a.m. when it goes live. They get an email link to the show, and they get 5 days a week, and they can listen to it directly off the Spreaker, which is a hosting service that I use. And they will host it for you. No charge, but you do get ads. That's a good deal. 5 shows every week, even the private membership shows, audio only with ads, $2. If I had 10% of my listening audience give me $2, I could run a 3-hour show with guests like Joe Rogan does. I could simply buy the influence that he gets because he's, famous comedian, Joe Rogan. You could buy that. Sure. You could buy listeners. You could buy all kinds of stuff. Just advertise. Because people who listen to this show generally keep listening. That's a good sign. When I started this show, 4 listeners, me and my family. We're now up close to 30,000. That's on a shoestring budget. If I had 10% of my listening audience giving me $2 a day, imagine what I can do. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care, folks. Have a good one.